Support for this podcast comes from the patrons at patreon.com/FMLFPL. Okay! Welcome to FMLFPL Milan.
This Walsh.
Post-mortem, baby.
Post-mortem in the office.
In the office, post-morteming. We have a cup to decide.
So what are we doing with this tie?
The season is over, and the two game week cups somehow combined total to a fucking goddamn tie.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Do they have identical teams? How did that even happen?
They do not have identical teams.
Okay.
It's just a freak thing. There was even auto subs, just all kinds of weird shit, and it just ended on the same points.
I mean, there's only one fair thing to do.
Team name?
No one wins. No one gets
No
it.
one wins.
No winner.
I mail you a kit, you mail me a kit.
They get nothing.
Sorry, losers.
No, they both get a kit.
I think they should both get a kit too. I'm really happy that you were there too.
That's not even a question.
Deciding every other round by the team name feels fun and okay, and it's whatever. But the finals, come on.
No, they
can't be doing that.
They both get the kit, the thing. So
cheers and congratulations to Bed-Stuy Blake and Baxi Lad.
Yeah. Long timers too. It's
long timers. Baxi not in Discord as much, but he's been around a long time. And Bed-Stuy's always in Slack, Discord, everything. So
yeah, he's been around for years. Yeah.
Great job by you guys.
Good job by both of you.
Insane win. On that note, I hit up everyone, check your Discords or emails or Patreon accounts or whatever for the top 8 people in the cup. You're all getting mugs, as well as the May mug winners. I hit everyone up too. So, all that out of the way. Thank you to everyone, our Patreon patrons, keeping the pod alive, keeping the lights on.
I forgot how good at Discord time it is right now because I obviously don't have Twitter, but I don't have to open any news because any relevant piece of information will be put in there.
Every tweet.
So I can just be spoon-fed.
Yes, it's an aggregator. It's just every... like Fabrizio tweet or anything important, whatever, articles, whatever, link just immediately pops up in Fest.
Yeah. Oran God.
Oran God, whatever it is. Yeah. Rumors, Brazilian rumors, who the fuck knows? It's in there.
That's good.
How much time do you want to spend on game week 38? Like 30 seconds? Is that enough?
The clock starts. The clock starts.
The clock starts now. How'd your game week 38 go, Walsh?
Semenyo in worked. So I got a nice cheeky plus 15 on that. But I vice capped him, so I put the wrong consonant on his upper left-hand corner. Unfortunately. So, that would have been another nice little chunk rise. But I finished on 72. Pretty
huge. Good. Yeah, really good.
Capped my worst player again, as usual. Wissa. Diabolical.
Yeah, I kept one of my worst players in Isak. I got 40 points in my free hit. I went no highly owned guys. I was like, you know what? No Mo, no Boomo. Fuck it. I'll just swing for the fences. And my only return was pretty much Semenyo. So that wasn't great. Semenyo and a Kirkez clean. That's literally it.
Yeah.
Bard clean on my bench. Welbs didn't play. Saka didn't start. Just whatever. Fuck it. Sums up my season. All right, that's game week 38.
Fuck it.
Yeah, it's game week 38. May mug winners. Oh yeah, I forgot to announce their names. So it's James Powell, aka Bales, aka X Games James. In first place, second place, Bill Bounds, aka Mug Letico, aka Bill Letico. And then in third place,
that's nice.
Yeah, it's great. Really? Third place, Ashir Ryan, aka Rami Jakats. Great job by all of you. Yeah, mugs are coming soon. This is it, baby.
Okay.
It all leads to this. Where are we starting?
I have a personal question that's been nagging at me before we get into this.
Let's go.
Where are you at on roast beef, deli meat?
Good. Not my favorite, but way above turkey. But good. Yeah, I think it's good. I think it goes really well with mustard. I think sometimes the there's some, cartilage, fatty bits, whatever, that are just really unpleasant in a sandwich. You want everything to be...
You could tear that out.
You could tear it out. But I'm saying, like, if you get a sandwich, sometimes it has some of those in.
Yeah.
And then it's like just not a nice bite. You want everything to be chewed at the same time. But good. Yeah, good. What about you?
I don't think I've had it until like 2 weeks ago or last week in my life. Like Lauren bought it because there was a line at the deli and it was the only like pre-packaged thing that they had. So she just picked it up.
You're in.
I don't know. I'm really conflicted.
Okay.
No, I just don't know. It's like, I don't know what I'm eating. I'm like, is this steak? Is this pound shop pastrami? What is this shredded fucking ass? Like, I don't know what it is.
There's definitely some ass in there. That's for sure.
I'm just like, what am I eating? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I had, as undecided. You know, with my mom and the way she cooks, I was not having chicken nuggets when we were in elementary school. I was having a roast beef or bologna sandwich pretty much every day.
Yeah, so I mean, I've just been a ham
part of my diet. You're a ham guy.
I mean, I've been eating ham since I could talk. Like, that's always. But when I was younger, like that was always my deli meat of choice. And then she'd sprinkle other stuff in there. But roast beef was never in. Never in the house.
Interesting.
Never ordered it before. Like, I don't think I've ever eaten it before.
That's crazy. That's wild to me. But
like I'd see it. I'm like, sometimes they have the platters of sandwiches. Like I'd see, I'd be like, oh, I guess I can't eat that. Like that's roast beef. Like I don't eat that. Like I never even questioned it.
It's something like before you even have a memory. Like some seeds were planted that it's like bad and you should never touch it or.
I gave it because I made Damien a roast beef sandwich. I asked him after school. I was like, "How was it?" He was like, "It was disgusting." I was like, "Okay."
Oh,
so he's out on
it's
roast
blood.
beef.
It's more than a seed.
He's
it's blood.
Yeah, he's out. So
he hates it.
Know.
Okay,
hates it.
Great with mustard. Beef and mustard. Great combo.
Yeah, I mean, I put mustard in it, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good. Usually the way this works is you send me your bullets and then we go through bullets or switch off or whatever, but I have no idea what you're going with. So I just kind of want to hear your stuff.
I mean, I have the same style, but I feel like every year we start with my stuff and we never start with your stuff. Let's start with your stuff.
Okay.
Show me my penis.
Show you mine if you show me yours. I think where I was kind of like, I just had this like Jackson Pollock of notes throughout the season. I just have this page or anything that happens from preseason through game week 38 that I'm like, this could be a post-mortem thing. I just copy and paste it from Discord. Like it's a full fucking combo or something dumb happens.
All right, just fucking say it.
Yeah. So the one recurring theme that I had, and this is like, I don't know if this is going to be hard to talk about or whatever, but for me, it's just, I need to figure out a process. And what I specifically mean about that is I need to define what a success is or a good transfer or whatever, and what a failure is, and what a bad pick is, what a flop is in regards to specific players throughout a season. This goes back to sort of last year's postmortem with the Richarlison rule, where if you remember, we were like, preseason, both of us, best pick in the game, out of position, cheap on an attacking team. He does badly, right? He gets like no points in the first 5 games and gets dropped. Then Son goes to Asia and he's back being, forward, lone
this was like
striker.
Wasn't this years ago?
No, this was the post-mortem for the 23-24 season.
Oh, but didn't Son went to Asia this year?
No, last year.
Oh, this was us talking about him last year at the end of last year regarding 2 years ago.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm calling the Richarlison rule. Because
he was fucking great before he got hurt this year.
Yeah. That was 2 years ago. Yeah. So 2 seasons ago. So what I mean is we both were like too tilted at how badly the Richarlison thing went early season to realize that he's still the same guy and still the same good pick later in the season. I think similar things may have happened this season. For me with Eze, I had Eze, we both had Eze multiple times where he was just bad and got no points or got injured or something like that. And I think that blinded both of us to getting him later in the season when he was great.
But I just had him.
I know, but we got him late. later, I think, than other people when he was just
I just sold him before he just got 50 points.
Maybe
but I had him for a long chunk in the late 20s.
So maybe it's just me.
He was just bad. Yeah, you were later. Yeah.
And then
anyway, keep going about it.
No, it's just that I think Enzo is an interesting example of this for you. I think Shada is an interesting example of this for me. I got Shada way too early, merely because I couldn't afford McNeil because the price rose, but that's not really the point. It sort of blinded me to getting back on Shada later when he, popped off, even though I got the tail end of it. And Enzo, I think you got him and he blanked like 5 games in a row or something like that. But, for a 5 million asset, he kind of was great if you just look at him in that light. And then the last one that I think sort of maybe falls under this, I'm not sure, but is Strand Larson, where we both owned from game week 11 through game week 17. They had a crazy run of fixtures. Let me see. It was home Southampton, at Fulham, home Bournemouth, at Everton, at West Ham, home Ipswich, at Leicester. And he got 2, 5, 11, 2, 2, 2, 2 in that run. Throw in another 2 for home Man United if you want. And then neither of us ever even considered him, I don't think, when Cunha got suspended. And a lot of other people did. And he went fucking bananas at the end of the season. Last 10 matches, he was insane and got 1 million points. So for me, where that came down is back to where I started is I need to keep some sort of record and figure out a way to judge players objectively on not just the points they got or didn't get, have some sort of other metric or rule or whatever of being Strand Larson didn't get points in that run. Was the process bad? I don't think so. He got some points. It just wasn't as good as Cunha. And then later in the season, maybe I'd have more clarity to be hey, it's the same guy. Cunha suspended. Why? I should not be just ignoring him because for 6 games, 5 months ago, he didn't get me points. If that makes any sense.
I mean, that was very convoluted. I'm just trying to distill this in. So you're basically saying players that you like and think are good, you get them in your team, they produce bad points, you get rid of them, and then write them off for the rest of the year.
I think both of us do that. Yeah.
Yeah. How to avoid that and have the door open for them at a later point, later in the season after we sell them.
Yes.
I mean, to me, you have to contextualize each specific player. I think a big thing that matters to me with understanding this is what the previous is. I think Eze and Strand Larson are very polar opposite cases where Eze has the pedigree and he has all the avenues and he has a very proven track record versus someone like Strand Larson where, we could have just been wrong, he puts up
barely
a really
seen him
bad,
play.
He puts up really bad results. Maybe he's still getting, decent underlying chances. He could have just also come back in this next second half and, we don't know what the mean he's regressing to is. So it's a lot harder in those instances to still be really bought in on someone when, you're looking at from the optics of, nothing's really different here. You mentioned the Cunha suspension, so maybe there's more reliance on him. But, ultimately you're is this the player he is? The guy that just misses chances? Is this fucking Broge or Beto or something? Or is this going to be someone who's going to, right? So I don't know. I mean, and it's also always way harder to do this when we're cherry picking these 1 or 2 individual corner cases but the fact of the matter is also when we look at getting these players back in, we're talking about somewhere in the last third of the season. You don't make any transfers based on that in the last third of the trees. You just get double game weekers. There's a good reason why, right? We just get double game weekers. So it doesn't fucking matter. If they don't have a double game week, we don't consider them. So, that consideration is also much more difficult because they have to have the double game weeks. It has to make sense within the ultra small bucket of players that we're considering from game week 30 to 36 or whatever. So I think there's some tough stuff there.
It's and FPL's hard for all of those reasons because it's hard to really find multiple examples of the same thing. The season's too short. You have 38 poker hands to play. And then the season resets and everything changes again. But the other one that I had as a sort of example is team specific, but the same kind of idea where I was really high on NFO. They were third in the table in game week 10. This is when I made my transfer. I started the season with Nico Williams for a reason. I was into MGW. I was into Wood. Nico gets dropped, and I just go completely away from Forrest because my guy got dropped. But I could have just as easily gone Aina or Milinkovic or Maria or whatever. And that part of the season, I would have fucking flown because they were incredible picks then. So it's another thing of just like, I'm just like, oh, fucking, Nuno, Nico, piss me off, whatever. Whereas like the answer was literally right in front of me. I already chose that I wanted to back NFO defense and believed in the Nuno defense. And then I just went away from it completely.
Yeah, I mean, I think the real-time evaluation and then reevaluation is, it's not really possible, like to do with every player or every team or something like that. But I think, some of the heuristics could be just like we were high on a given player or a given team in preseason when we looked at their squad and we, created in our heads what it could be for a good reason. So, I mean, I think when that falls flat, it's important probably for us to reevaluate. It's like, okay, well, we thought Potter going into his second season with these new players and after already playing, 10 games with all the other guys and, remolding the squad to be like, you could tell yourself that story where, we're high on West Ham going into game week 1.
Totally.
They could be. And then if they are, we look like geniuses and we don't have to look at it another time. And if they're not, we have to think like, were we really wrong, or is this going to come good and we have to be patient?
Right.
That's
I was just going to interject with, isn't it funny? Like when it goes the way that you think it'll go, it doesn't even feel like a data point. It's just like, I fucking knew this was going to happen and I'm a fucking genius. Right? Yeah. But then when it doesn't go, we fucking file it away. We do badly. We make mistakes that we've been making for over 10 years now. And it's really hard to find out, like you said, a heuristic or change your heuristics. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. I mean, in game week 29 or 28, rather, you wild carded. You brought in Marmouche, Holland, and Beto was your third forward. And then I had Isak.
Is this turning into a roast?
No, I'm just saying, because we both could have gone Strand and definitely didn't entertain Strand, but we didn't get doublers. I had Isak and Marm, and I went Wood.
Well, City were doubling. Like that was on the horizon.
But I'm talking about your Beto pick and my Wood pick. Yeah, whereas Strand was, 5 something back then,
Yeah.
And he was 5'3" or 2 and just went insane.
It sounds like someone who's more expensive than Beto, but yeah. I think, it's something that we probably need to kind of hold each other accountable more too of, when one of us gets pissed off about something, like definitely sell the player. I like that for sure.
Yeah.
Because, that's fine. And give some time and space to breathe, like let a few games pass, let a month or 2 pass, and then look at the player again and say, what's the same, what's different?
Yes.
And the fixtures matter a lot too, right? Like, you want to try and get these guys for good fixture runs and, see, do I want to do this again or do I want to leave them alone, and give it more consideration, right?
I feel like the only way to actually do that reliably would be some sort of record keeping. Because just relying on our emotional brains in the trenches of a season, it won't come through. Well, I don't know how to do that.
Well, to me, I'm trying to think about how this applies to me. It's like 2 seasons ago, it was Ollie, game week 1.
Yep.
This year, it was Bowen, game week 1. Who had Bowen game week 1? I mean, literally nobody. I did. All he did was return every week, and I just sell him.
Yep.
I mean, I can't.
You wildcarded, right? You just wildcarded him out.
I gotta stop doing this. Like, there's a reason why I get the guy, and then I just. Not only do they don't even need to not return. They could return. I still fucking get rid of them.
We still make up reasons to get rid of them. We still tell ourselves stories. I mean, obviously we'll spend time on Mo, whether now or later or whatever, but listening back and trying to go back and figure out like what was I thinking in 6 when I wildcarded Mo out that kind of tanked my season. Everyone got rid of him. That was the thing that it was, and maybe we just go Mo now, but the thing that was most fascinating when I went back is other people like friends of ours, guests or whatever, and other pods that I like, Danny or LR, Zofar, all those guys all got rid. Literally every single one did not have Mo on a game week 6 wildcard. I think it just says something about specifically game week 6, what was going on. Saka, Palmer, Holland was just chalk. That was just like Saka and Palmer are better value than Mo. Mo's fixtures are just getting nightmare and Champions League starting. And Holland at that point was completely undroppable, best pick ever in the history at that point. And yeah, I don't have like a record of like exactly why, and I have to do all this digging to try and figure out the lack of record keeping of like, and I wish I had that. I wish I had lineup lambs. That's basically what I'm saying is I wish I had our lineup lambs that we don't do anymore, haven't done for years, to just go back to game week 29 and be like, oh, look, like Walsh, you wrote in your lambs, like I'm between Strand and Beto, but I don't feel blah, blah, blah. And I could be like, there it is. Bam. We have the record of it. But, I'm not going to listen to our fucking game week 29 pod. It's like, I'm not going to go that deep for, the post-mortem. So, it is what it is.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that was one that came up for me. What about, you want to just ping pong back and forth?
I mean, I don't think I really, other than obviously goalkeeper, I don't have any macro real things except for the, I have one, which is, the most obvious that I'm sure you would have had on, but the game week 1 bench boost, it's just, you're playing the game wrong if you aren't doing it. I feel so certain about this after seeing this transpire over the last few years. Like, it just is supposed to be played game week 1. I mean, it's the only time you can wild card and bench boost in the same week. And it's just good. I mean, you can easily make your team with no Barcos.
Yeah.
I mean, you can put Barcos in if you want.
You can put them in if you want, yeah.
But it's just such a useless non-event, like the chip itself.
It's
that I feel
so
like
bad.
I feel like unloading and unburdening yourself from something like that while not having the perceived, what are other people doing with it? Oh, this guy got 32 points with it, or, oh, these guys are going to do it in this double game week and they're going to get so many more fixtures than I got, therefore so many more points. It just it works out like that, maybe under 10% of the time, but the vast majority of the time, it just does not work. That just doesn't happen. That's not how it works.
Yeah, I think the other thing is like the content creators that you're mentioning or whatever, that people tend to follow their lead, which is fair enough. They're way better at FML than we are, but everyone's scenario is not the same, right? Like, you don't have the exact same team and money in the bank and information that they do or whatever. So while it might have worked for XYZ, that doesn't mean it's going to work for you. And I think that is also something that you just have to accept, is like, we're all playing very different games. Like, it's a moving, evolving puzzle that, even like my brother's team, like that lore of like doing a team where you only look at it for 5 minutes on Friday, it was always different than mine. There's different money in the bank. There's different pressers. There's different injury news on Friday when I make his moves versus like when we're potting on a Monday and maybe I make an early move for a guy or something, and things, diverge from there. But yeah. I'm curious.
Every week's
like,
a sliding doors.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm curious what is the pessimistic take for bench boost game week 1? Like, let's construct that argument.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I see people say is your team value is low. I'm like, that's fucking absurd. I mean,
team value is low.
Team value is, but that being a perceived negative is absurd to me. I mean, we were just looking at this year, right, where, if you had 93 million budget, I mean, Saka was hurt all year. Mo and Holland was hurt half the year. Like, Mo was good, obviously, but we're not playing in this world where you need a 110 team value to jam in all of these 11 million players. Like, that could just be biased based on recency because that didn't happen this year. But I feel like over the past few years, that's sort of been the direction of travel, where the way they've been pricing the game is having more, latitude so that you can fit more good players in your team and it's less difficult. So, that is that skews you away from prioritizing team value.
I do get that argument, though. Just looking at like my game week 1 team, right? I have Mo and Holland. I was kind of unique there. I think most people went Holland and one of Saka Palmer, right? Or maybe both? Were people going both in game week 1? Either way, the point is,
I don't remember.
You wouldn't be able to make any of the chalk teams if you were also putting, 4 playing players on your bench. You wouldn't have, we would not have been able to make the same teams that were like, my team was fucking amazing. I flew in the early part of the season. I would not have been able to make that team. I would have had to taken money out of, I don't know, maybe Trent, or maybe I wouldn't have, maybe that's what would have pushed me to not go Mo, which would have been really bad, and spread the money to backup keeper, Barco.
Yeah, now we're back to just every X is a sliding doors moment.
Yes,
but ultimately it's like the bench boost. We also forget the bench boost is your backup keeper, 2 backup defenders, and your backup midfielder. So team value is not going to be like, oh, I have a great team value, so I'm going to put a 6'5" fifth midfielder. I'm going to put in for one game. Like, don't forget, this is for one game. Like the gymnastics that you go through. I mean, and then the other one is that's most common is you want to get doublers. Like, I don't agree at all, because you're picking cheap, shitty players on shitty teams. So if your shitty defender on a shitty team plays 2 times in one game week, guess what? They're going to get 0 or 1 point in one of those 2 games. So what are we talking about?
Which also touches on one of my other, topics or whatever, which is just don't get baited by fixtures. It sounds really easy, but I have this from you and me talking in Discord. If a bad defense has good fixtures, like you getting POW on your wild card, I still don't want their fucking players. And you were so mad about getting POW because they had all these good fixtures and got you 1 point every game because they were fucking mess back then. But
get Consa later.
See, later,
I didn't get POW.
Consa. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I hear you. I'm just trying to make the devil's advocate this through and through, because it's 0.5 to the backup keeper. It's probably maybe 1 million total. Let's just say, to like make sure your defenders are starting and maybe a midfielder who has a chance of a return, not Harry Winks or something like that.
Yeah,
it's not a lot, but it does. I don't know. Maybe limitations are good, is like the other side of this coin, but it does limit some picks that when it's time for game week 1, you'll feel like you wish you had.
Yeah, that'll always be the case, because you could always, you free up $1 million somewhere and you get this guy that's perceived better than that other cheaper guy.
Yes.
It's, it's all back to the sliding doors. But there are 2 other aspects of this of where I feel like the game week 1 is good. Like the way that defense is traveling, like we want 4 or 5 defenders. We don't want 4-0 defenders anymore. Like we want to be rotating 4 or 5 defenders. So having more of those guys in the beginning of the year is going to be good in general. And again, reminding ourselves that bench boost is really a chip about 2 backup defenders and a backup goalkeeper. Like, it's trying to find a clean sheet from bad players. So, you also, from doing that game week 1, you have just who's playing a promoted side. If they have 4 or 5 defense, like that's a worthy bet.
Yeah, that's it.
And the other aspect
that's the whole bench. Like, honestly, there's a possibility that someone is home Burnley game week 1 and they have
triple
a 4 or 5
defense or whatever.
It's right there. You just do that and bench boost that.
And I think the other aspect of this, which is, I'm going to experiment with this year, and I didn't really go into last year with this in mind, but either game week 2 or game week 3 wildcard, like I think that's also something that makes the strategy a little bit more powerful. Because you can really commit all in to the first game week for the bench boost.
Yeah.
I think it would depend, like if you have a team like, if you're going Mo or no Holland or something, and they have like 2 amazing fixtures versus like the first one, like where maybe you want to try and buy yourself 1 extra. But where I went so badly wrong with my bench boost this year, where I got 4 points, obviously, great job by me. I made a team that was trying to hedge, like where I could keep this for 2 months if these few things break right.
If it goes right.
Yeah. Like I have get out of jail moments, but I'm also trying to find value. Like I had Zinchenko. Like I'm still trying to find value where like,
that's
he's going to start game week 1. Well, he got clean. I'm like, he's going to start he got me points that game week and I never started him again. But then I was like, oh, well, he's 5 million. I don't have to spend 6 million, like the clean game week 1. But like and then I end up holding on to him among other problems and I staved my wild card off for longer and it just was really bad. So, I mean, I'm also going to look at this year once, depending on the fixtures, what they look like, either definitely wild carding game week 2 or definitely wild carding in game week 3. So I'm really going to be looking at this as like just a free hit, basically.
Yeah, which is, I would say, another sort of devil's advocate moment there is like, to me, it feels like you do kind of have to go in with that thinking if you're going to like succeed with this strategy. Obviously not have to. There's like, edge cases in everything in FPL where you picked your team and it just works out and the premium that you can get is not that good and everything goes great. But I think more often than not, you're just going to be sitting with this extra 1.5 or 2 million on your bench players that you don't even like necessarily. They just had a good game week 1 fixture and you're going to want to redistribute those funds. Yeah, and I think you're going to want to jump on someone with good fixtures. And I think you're going to want to add that additional premium that you don't have, so.
Yeah. And this is a way of getting out of it. Like, because like we're talking about is, if you use your bench boost later, when you have higher team value and you put more money into your bench, you're cannibalizing yourself because you're taking the excess value you have and vacating it from the pitch. So what's the point of having more team value on one game? You're using it for one extra game in the grand scheme of however many 38 times 11, 500 games we have per season or whatever, right? By doing it this way, right, you immediately vacate, you identify the 4-5 mid, you're not sitting there with weeks long value on your bench just hemorrhaging, earning and doing absolutely nothing for you. And then then you can put it back on the pitch. Right. Then you get your 4 million goalkeeper. Right. Then and you can just go off to the races from that standpoint. And and we've also talked about the misconception about spending transfers on your bench for bench boosts and how costly that could be. We haven't even touched that. So I just feel like it's an absolute Himalayan mountain size worth of evidence that this is just correct. Like this is just how you should be doing this, how you should be using the chip and how you should be kind of looking at it. So, I'm going to do it again and hopefully I have better results this year after I have a little experience to learn from last year and, we'll see.
Well, so I want to follow up on that with just, this was another one of the notes in my thing was my season basically ended in game week 29. Like I joke and say, oh, my season tanked when I got rid of Mo. I could have got Mo back, but my season actually ended in 29. I used my second wild card to fight on the FMLFPL Cup fronts, and I got knocked out of the cup. My rank was already shit. And my big takeaway at that moment wasn't like, oh, I should have got Mo back. I would have been, in with a shout at the season. My takeaway was, fuck, I still have my fucking chips. I don't care. I have to use mental energy in game week 38. Maybe it's not quote unquote optimal, but
it's definitely not optimal. But
I wish I just had, and I think you touched on this last year. Like you just want to start well, for mental health, and you did,
yeah, and I did, and then I just shouted, transfer Palmer out before he scores 4 goals. The kind of thing happened, and get rid of Mo and get Holland when he's all the thing. I'd made all the bad choices, but it did work. I mean, I got 4 points off my bench boost, but I started well. Like I had a good start. And I wild carded early. So
you triple capped a hat trick.
I triple capped. That was another which I totally reversed course on that. Like that was, I mean, I don't mind doing it early, but like using triple cap early for that point is a little bit insane. I think
triple cap is clearly best on a double, whereas the other ones, it's like I don't know, whatever.
Yeah,
but how do we avoid Barco? I mean, because that is like the elephant in the room is. We were both on Barco, etc.
I mean, my issue was because I wasn't committed to making an early wild card, and I was like, oh, I can eke out at 0.5 here, and I can put it somewhere else, and my overall team is going to look better.
I see what you mean.
If I'm like, I don't give a shit about 0.5, I'm wild carding immediately. I'm just going to get dunk, and I'm, if there's 1% chance of this guy not starting, he's just not on my team.
Right.
So,
and I think the example, I'm just looking now at your game week 1 team. I think the example in your team is right there. It's Mitchell on your bench, who is 5 million, and he should have been a nailed 4-5, and then Barco would have been a nailed 4-5, and you would have gotten +2 on your bench boost, which sounds ridiculous, but it's a +2 and a chance of a clean. It's +2 with a chance of being a +6. So that would have solved that issue right away. You wouldn't have taken that risk.
Yes, exactly. So but the trickle down effect is real there.
Yeah.
Is what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I love that. I'm excited to join you there. So I guess this is kind of related too. It's just, and we fucking say this every year, I'm sure, but I just gotta follow my gut. Another thing that I personally have to figure out for myself, and I think everyone else will have a different sort of process here. Certainly ours is different. Is just, I just need to figure out my move, figure out my temperature on players or teams or whatever before it's thrown into the washing machine of me and you potting and me posting the shit on Twitter and me being in Discord and chatting and answering people's questions and potting again and live streaming and all this shit where I just go away from where I was in my gut. And the most recent example is Saka in my game week 38 free hit. I was fucking nowhere near Saka. I didn't want him at all. And then of course, here's the thing. Here's the decision tree. And it's very similar to us getting players you love chats in previous postmortems. Oversimplified decision tree. You follow your gut. The player you get succeeds. Euphoria. Great job by you. You follow your gut. The player you get fails. All right. You followed your gut, but you can maybe re-examine your process or something like that, or insert a billion other reasons, that your process failed there, but you don't feel as bad. You go against your gut, the player succeeds. It's good, but it doesn't feel like you made a fucking decision and you're doing well in the game. It sort of just feels like, oh, well, everyone fucking got Milenkovic, so obviously, I just did the obvious thing. And then when you go against your gut and it fails, it's the worst feeling. This is the feeling that I exactly need to avoid, which is just rage and despair and just sends me into a tailspin. So, yeah, follow your gut.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why you're so impressionable to the masses, because
it honestly, really is the social. It's the and this is such a bullshit excuse, but it's real.
Inundated.
I'm posting constantly, and I just see shit nonstop, whether I want to or not.
Too many ideas.
Yeah, that's really all I think it is. Because there's one FPL pod that I listen to ever, and these guys Danny and Rich, and they're chill and they're great. And I'm actually gonna be on their pod tomorrow. I probably should have said that earlier. FPL Last Resort. It's the only pod I like. Every other pod I don't like, and I don't even listen to them for advice. I just think they're interesting and they have good, thoughts. But yeah, it's just that I just see everything. I just see too much. That's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad as long as you don't allow it to infiltrate what your original idea was. Because I would say the amount of times that I am like, dude, this is stupid. Maybe once a year, I'd say that to you. Like when you have an idea or something. I mean, it might not even be once a year. It might be once every other year.
Yeah.
The percentage differences between, your idea and other pod person's idea is not 60% bet. Like, it's like 4% or 5. Yeah. It's like such a small narrow. Every margin is so slim.
For sure.
So it's like, if you can just kind of recognize that and, not get swayed or, stick with what your initial thing is, you'll be feeling a lot better about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll be doing better, but you'll be feeling better.
Well, that's the whole goal. Isn't that the whole goal?
Feel good. Doesn't matter if you do good.
Have fun playing game. Don't make it feel bad playing game. Like that's the entire goal. Like and the Potter Assman thing sent me, I don't know if you remember that. Like everyone in my class.
Of course I remember.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, I don't want to double with Walsh. I'm kind of feeling Potter. everyone on the live stream is like, "You're the biggest fucking idiot ever."
I was like, "Yeah, it's fine." It's like, Potter's fine. Like this, if you don't want to go Glasner, it's like, and it's. But if you have a field, you just have to go for it.
Yeah, basically that. There's nothing else to say there, really.
Yeah. Okay.
What about you? You want to take something?
Well, I have only one other macro I guess we could touch on, but I have like just specific players.
Well, I think everything turns into macro. Specific players is good too. Hit me.
Yeah. Well, I'll just do the other macro. It's obviously goalkeeper related. My note is 4.5 goalkeeper. Just stop it already. And there's a second note, which is the last note I have, which is a direct message to you, and put this in a time capsule. Yeah. Do not allow me to spend more than 4.5 on a GK.
Yes,
I need you to be my fucking sponsor.
I'll be there.
Or something.
I'll be there.
I cannot do that anymore. Again, ever. It's just so stupid. It's so stupid and bad and dumb and bad to spend more than 4.5 on a goalkeeper. You can have two of them that are 4.5. That's okay. More than 4.5 is fucking asinine. And do not allow me to start talking to you about goalkeepers getting bonus points when it's game week 4. Don't even permit that discussion.
I was going to bring that up.
Do not allow me to do things like this.
So
you need to know me better. And
the goalkeeper elephant in the room is Raya. And Jesse said, I need a post-mortem segment on how hard you felt for Raya in the first few weeks. He had a few games at the start of the season with more than 3 saves. No real reason why that would continue. 3 bonus points. It felt like a lot of hand waving towards the bonus point changes, even though there was no real reason the changes would lead to more goalie points. So Raya gets fucking 33 points in the first 5 game weeks, 6.6 per start. Rest of the season, 33 other starts, he gets 109 points, 3.3 per start. No better than any fucking 4 or 5 in the game.
No better than Palmer.
No better than
in goal.
Palmer, Alex, Palmer, Alex, fucking Flecken,
it's a
Mark.
Fraud. They're all fucking frauds. All the goalkeepers are frauds. It's an absolute joke and a piss take. That's all. That's all I have to say about that.
Yes, I completely agree. That's a good one by you.
Okay.
I looked at
10 years later, we figured
10 years
it out.
later. I look at my team, your team, aforementioned Danny, whose pod I'm going to be on because he had such a good season. I always like to mix in a good season there. And then Tio, friend of the pod, who had in between your season and a good season. I got by a landslide the most keeper points out of everyone. Fuckford. Penalty saves, easy. Yeah. And
who does not meet this golden rule, by the way.
Because he'll be 5.
He was 5 this year.
And he was 5 this year. So he will not be in your team. No. Maybe the rule changes in your second wild card when you have more money, but that's a different conversation.
No,
I don't think it does.
It does not change ever. Yeah. It never changes.
I wonder why I got him. I don't remember at all.
He probably had 3 good fixtures, and we're like, "Well, gotta go." It's stupid.
But it was. I think it was my second wild card, so I was definitely thinking long term, right?
There were good reasons. He's Dyche keeper. They usually farm.
It was wild card 1. I got him game week 6.
So it was. They probably had a good run of fixtures, and Dyche keepers they typically turn good, and they're getting Brandt back. There's
there were reasons. Yeah,
there were reasons.
But we don't need to go more on keeper. It's like I got more points in keeper, and it didn't fucking matter at all. My rank is
because they get no points.
Million. They get no points.
They get no points. So
I don't think there's a realistic world where the gap could have been larger than what it was. I got 31 more points than you. Basically a point extra per week than you or Danny or Tio, and more in some cases. And it's meaningless. That is worthless.
Yes and no. It is good objectively to get more points than other people in a position. That maybe speaks more to the rest of your 10 players that you're picking every week. Or
it's a no.
But it is just it's a small. You can yes to everything. It fucking fries my brain.
Yeah, and. Yeah. Pickford, by the way, had more points than any keeper or defender this season.
Easy fucking. Frankfurt.
Yeah. So I don't know what to even. Here's the thing with the Mo conversation that probably should happen. Both of us got rid of Mo, held Haaland for way too long, and took too long to go back to Mo, and that was the low point of literally everyone's season. Everyone in our fucking Discord, live stream channel, whatever, is posting those goddamn graphs, and it's like normal, good. Oh, here's the point where you got rid of Mo, and it's the lowest point of your season, and then it skyrockets back up because you got Mo. So I guess my question is, what is the lesson to learn? Like, at what point was it very clear that this was a gigantic error? And I think that's kind of harder to pull apart if you just, well, go ahead. You were going to say something.
Well, there's uniqueness to the case because, like you mentioned earlier, when we were looking and a lot of people were getting rid of Mo at that juncture, he had very difficult fixtures on paper and Champions League starting. I mean, those are two really good reasons to go to someone else. My Mo note is selling Mo second half.
That's like a different thing. Yeah.
But it's part of just the first half, second half thing. And
yes,
we also were dealt the other unique case with Mo this year is that he didn't have to play defense all year. So, his sustained run was obviously pen aided, but he was also just attacking and playing attack a lot more than he ever had under Klopp in any season we've ever known him. Like, he's never had this little defensive duty. So that's something that plays into it. But we do have a very, very long record of Mo absolutely destroying the league in the first half and then barely keeping up with appearances in the second half. Yeah. And like, I almost think that's the lesson. Like, if it's Ramadan and you have Mo in your team, like you're maybe just like, you're not getting ahead of the field.
They need to amend Ramadan to also fast from Mo in your team. That's part of the fast.
And I mean, that might even be too late. But I mean, when we come into, the mid-game week 20s or, that time period, I mean, maybe before that is the golden Mo time, right? Where he's just, he plays everyone in the first run, plays the Champions League games. I mean, he's getting older, he's obviously fit, but there is something to the fade at the second half of the season, every single season.
Yeah.
And this, again, it's almost like this is probably going to be undersold because of how many pens he got in the second half. But if you take his pens away, dude, he scored like 2 goals in like 15 games or something. I mean, maybe if something like that, like it was
something
similar, something crazy. And it was not crazy based on the eye test. Like, we're watching, we're like, hey, he's just like not shooting. Like, he's not getting in the middle of the box anymore. Like, he's just like making passes and staying on the wing kind of. And he looks bad. And, this happens every year and we never sell him. Like, we're just like, oh no, but he's the most points in the game. Like, he's going to come good. It's going to happen. Like, everyone else has him. His EO is blah, blah, blah. Like, we have to keep capping
every year. Same
every
arguments.
Year. It's game week 30. We talk about it's game week 27. We have this. It's game week 33. It's like, I think that's something, there's something that's to me the lesson is like, we need to finally just sack up and do that, just sell them, don't totally care about what the fixtures look like. It's like, they're in the quarters of the fucking fuckle. They're in the semis of the League Cup. They're in the semis of the FA Cup. Hey, Mo's fucking tired. He's going to finish badly like he has for the last 7 years. Let's sell him, let's fucking sell him, and redistribute, right? It
was right when Ramadan started, when the dip happened this year, which was, by the way, so frustrating because in game week 28, he's home Southampton and
2 pens. Should have blanked, and I can't remember who we capped. I don't have it open right now.
Wasn't him, but it wasn't him, and that just killed us.
And that was really that was a sad time.
That was really brutal. But aside from those 2 pens, after the Newcastle game in 27, which is the start of Ramadan,
we were on Palmer, home Leicester, easy 1-pointer.
Well, oh my god. 1-0 win.
Easy 1-pointer.
Classic 1-0 win. But I mean, so multiple Mo things here. The angle that I was talking about, I mean, just to get into it for a little bit here, is just, so I mentioned earlier, I checked all these like content creators, friends, whatever, no one had Mo in their game week 6 wildcard. Same week I wildcarded. 4 out of these people randomly just transfer Mo in game week 10. people who don't take hits. They're like safe managers. They're hitting Saka out. They're hitting Haaland out. They're just going nuts. I have no idea why. If someone wants to write in and tell me what the hell was going on, was there a fucking leak or something that made all these conservative, chalky managers do that at that time? I don't know why. I took a look at Haaland's numbers at that point in the season. They were elite. They were the best in the world. Still. All the way through until City basically played Liverpool, Haaland was still putting up the most ridiculous numbers underlying ever that we've ever really seen in the game. The goals weren't following. The goals obviously dried up, right? 2-pointer starting game week 6 is 2-2-2-6. The underlyings and the positions he was getting into and the shots and everything were out of control until, like I said, game week 13 when they played Liverpool. So I don't know what happened and why everyone made that change. But looking back, I don't know what I should have done. Like, obviously, doing it, the sooner you did it, the better season you had, straight up 1-1. But it's easy to say, like, just admit your mistake and correct it. But, like, how does that actually manifest into something that's, like, learnable? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I mean, sometimes you just get fucked and, this happens. And then other times you just don't. I mean, there is something, though, with the rising tide kind of keeps all boats afloat or whatever it is, right? Where if you're the last one left on an island, like,
I know,
maybe you're wrong and they're all right, kind of thing, not the other way around. And, sometimes it's just that, like, this is some weird tidal wave of inevitability feeling. And like, I better just make this switch, even though some of the data that I'm seeing might tell me otherwise. Like, it's not, there's something happening here. And, maybe it's kind of it's stopping yourself at that point.
Yeah. I think that's basically right. I mean, obviously, I keep mentioning that Liverpool game for Man City because from then on, his numbers are absurdly bad for someone like him, and like they just went off losing 4 games in a row. It's like, all right, fucking obviously get rid of him. That was kind of the point where I was like, I'm tanking my season. I don't fucking give a shit. But I would love someone to write in or look back at what all these other people were doing in game week 10 when all these people.
It's hard. I mean, I'm looking and like, City had a few away games coming up. Like, I don't know what was happening with Fuckle at that moment.
Yeah, maybe like they had crazy Champions League. Or something.
Like they had Southampton coming up, Liverpool. So maybe that was just like the time to do it. Chelsea had like Arsenal. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it could have just been also just you're looking at this and you're looking like, okay, we're 10 in. This guy has blanked once. I mean, it looks like he's playing what, the team looks good and he's doing the things. So yeah. But no, it's a good question for sure.
Yeah. Cause also just the last thing on it is Mo's points right just before that, right? Where you look and it's like before game week 10, when everyone got him, is like 10, 12, 3, 10, 3 goals, 1 assist. 2 of those goals are pens, aforementioned pens.
Yeah. Well, right? Pens are good.
I'm sure pens are fucking amazing. Guess who else plays 90 and has pens is Haaland.
Well,
he just didn't get him.
Takes pens sometimes, but yeah.
Oh my god, yeah. Doku wins corners, not pens.
Yeah. No, but I mean, look, we both had Haaland and forever, and we're stupid and terrible. So we were wrong, and they were all right, and we should have made that switch. And
I don't know what's learnable there, but. Fuck, man. It could not have possibly gone any worse than the highest scoring player of literally all time in this game. Just having the hottest stretch of all time in this game. It was just insane.
Yeah. I mean, like game week 1, Mo is non-negotiable. Like there's no point
non-negotiable.
There's no point even talking about it.
Yeah, it's one of the only things I got right.
It's the only nailed on. He should be the only nailed pick in everybody's team right now in game week 1 before the game opens and the transfer window even
Couldn't
starts.
Agree more. Fixtures don't matter. It's fucking automatic.
Yeah, it's automatic. Okay, so my next one is 4.5. A lot of 4.5 defense from me on this. Dorgu, straight in. Dorgu, I think, is gonna be. I'm kind of high on Man United this upcoming season.
I saw you saying in Discord things along the lines of, I think I love Amarim. And I'm just like, what's happening? Like, what is this?
He's so fucking psychotic that he's good, I think. There's something there.
Is he good?
Look, he doesn't, you don't go in, I mean, you maybe he hit a few lottery tickets, but he doesn't go, you can't go in with fucking Portuguese team into fuckle and just win 4-0 against everybody, including Man City. And that's a flash in the pan. Like, I refuse to accept that. Yeah. And, you know, he might need very specific things in his squad and in these player profiles to do this precise system. And maybe it's moves kind of style outdated and it won't work in the Premier League. But I would rather bet on him and find out and be wrong than be doubtful and, you know, kind of see like, this is who he is. I mean, I was especially critical of him somewhere in the midpoint of his, or the early to midpoint of his tenure after he got hired last year, of how he was kind of handling the press. And, you know, I mean, he could be playing some crazy mind games. I have no idea what's going on. I mean, he might just be crazy. He might just be fucking crazy. That's very possible. But I mean, he's lighting players on fire and he's like saying basically, fire me, I don't care. So, you know, the insubordination and the amount of discord in the locker room. And, no, well, it's been how many years? It's been since I've been following football. It's like that locker room and what the players get away with and how they run things. It's like Leicester styles of Schmeichel and Vardy. Like, it's insane. It's like the lunatics are running the asylum. The prisoners, the inmates are running the prison. So he's just saying like Rashford, like, go get fucked. Like, Garnacho, good luck finding another club. You don't listen to me or whatever, right? And just telling like, if you don't listen to me, you aren't playing. And he's just laying the gauntlet down and there's going to be no pressure on them next year. They can't do worse next year than they did this year. They have no Europe finally when they shouldn't. They don't have a squad to play in Europe. Like, there's a big bounce back here, I think, for them to be able to finish something like 8th, you know, I mean, which would be, there would be a lot of really good FPL picks if they finish somewhere between 7th and 11th. 10,
we'll all own many Manchester United players. I mean, I owned literally 0 this season, which is probably the first time it's ever happened.
All year? You didn't even have Bruno? No 0. Deal with Bruno.
No Bruno, no Garnacho, no fucking random 4-5 or defender or punt or anything. The only 2 teams I didn't have any players on all year were Man United and West Ham. And obviously Bowen I should have had, but and for you is Leicester.
All right, good.
Perfect.
I'm glad.
You nailed that.
But
yeah, Dorgu, I mean, I like Dorgu a lot more than I believe in Manchester United or Amarin. Like, to me, those are not that close. So like, I'm just more, I'd like to see anything. Like, so far we've seen absolutely nothing. So I think I would need to see something, unless their fixtures are just like crazy, then maybe I'll, you know, get baited by that as usual every season. And he'll, you know, have 3 Manchester United players instead of 0. But as of now, I'm less like sold.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I want to see how the fat gets trimmed, and I want to see kind of how lean the squad looks and what kind of shape it looks in preseason. But I mean, I feel like there's going to be underpriced picks here. And I do really I do really like the notion of, you know, some of their players that, look, we like Casemiro, for example. I mean, I don't know if he's going to go to Saudi or not or whatever, but we say what we want about him. If he played like 3 or 4 games a month, he would be good in every start.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the kind of trajectory that they're going to be on right now. Like, they're going to be able to do that kind of thing. And they're going to actually train. Like, they didn't really train. They got Amarin in. How many training sessions, full training sessions? They probably had like single digits. They had a game every other game every other day. So like, I feel like he's going to turn them around. And I think that there are, especially playing with like 3 like a back 3. I mean, playing compact, like, I feel like they have good enough players, and this year they're going to be able to do. I like, as part of a 4 or 5 defensive rotation, I really like Dorgu, and you know, I don't. He looks like he might have 2 left feet, but you know, he's pace and power. Like, he gets in there at least. And,
I mean, he is so my kind of player. My kind of pick, like left wing back who just like, you know, underlaps, overlaps, does everything. Yeah, I mean, I like mentioned him. I think it was the fucking Ted Knutson pod. I was like, I like the look of this guy. You know, he fits in perfectly. Obviously, it didn't, go great in his like 9 games or whatever. But yeah, no, he's definitely on my list more than Manchester United are on my list. But it is funny that like I underpriced, overpriced, all this shit is whatever. Eye and of the beholder or whatever. But like Bruno, it's insane that I didn't have Bruno at all this year.
Yeah,
he's a good pick every year.
Yeah,
like he goes through stretches where he gets red cards or he just gets a couple assists. He started the season terribly, but like he will go on stretches where he just gets a bunch of double-digit hauls. He trickles in with some pens. He looks really good, whatever. I just feel like, I don't know. He needs to be a part of my thinking more than he is. I need to put more stock in players who, in a Boomo kind of way, put more stock in players who just play 90 every single game.
I think that those are very different cases, like Boomo and him, for example, because Bruno, he is absolutely not the player you have for 38 game weeks. Like we know when he doesn't play, and it's when they play a good team. Like he just doesn't appear on the pitch, and unless they get a penalty, he doesn't get points. So.
Yep.
There were certain, like, I mean, I think I probably had him. I know I had him once. I might have had him twice this year, but he's the kind of guy that you look and say, oh, they have 4 good fixtures in the next 6. I'm getting him short term, and you have a really hard time getting short term players, like especially when they're at
I usually
cost.
Don't consider it.
You don't consider it. So like we're looking like, okay, they have 3 good games, like 2 promoted sides in the next 3, and then it gets hard. Like those could be worth 2 transfers. He gets 40 points. And you're like, oh yeah, it was, because that's when he gets his, versus Boomo, who also did flat track a lot, but he also just can pop up on a counter against anyone. So he is someone that you can have for 38 game weeks, and he's also not at cost. I mean, he will be next year.
I was going to bring up the price because I think
too.
That is almost like more important as to why one is a season long hold and one isn't. Is like it's a lot easier to just hold someone who's 7 rather than someone who's 8.5. They produce basically the same amount of points. Bruno a little worse, but yeah, you brought in Bruno game week 11. And you got rid game week 14. They were home Leicester, at Ipswich, home Everton. And he got 17, 2, 9. And then you got rid before Arsenal.
Boom.
Easy game.
Easy game.
Yeah.
Bruno.
He got 2 more returns after that. He got 9 and 9. But then 2, -2, 0. So it all balances out. That's Bruno, baby.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yeah, what else? You want to talk Palmer?
Sure.
Because I think Palmer and Chelsea, I mean, I assume now, I kind of assume now they're going to keep Enzo, and all season I'm being like, I can't wait for them to fire Enzo. But they like make Champions League and win whatever made up cup they're in, and they're in the Club World Cup, and they don't even have downtime. And I was all season, I was thinking like, man, if they get an attacking manager, Palmer will also be alongside Mo, absolutely 100% nailed in my game week 1 team. But now,
he's just not a pick.
Such a defensive manager. I still think he is a pick, but maybe you have to pick your spots or something.
Yeah, I just don't think he's a pick. Unless if we see something very different in terms of his usage and where he is, like I just don't think he's a pick at all. I don't anticipate him having some like significant price decrease, right? I mean, he started 10-5. He still got 25 returns over 200 points, but like what he was doing in the beginning of the season evaporated. And he looked like he should be getting no points every game for months. And he got no points every game for months. And the defensive nature and the lack of, whether it's his confidence or he's in a purple patch, whatever you want to call it, he stopped shooting, really, right? I mean, and then the shots he was taking were just getting blocked. Like teams found out and figured them out.
Because he didn't stop shooting, but maybe they got blocked more often.
Yeah, they were low. Whatever, it's just like frustration. And it just looked like the league found out what to do against this team and they just stopped functioning completely. Just for him at the price he's going to be, 10 or more. It's just,
especially
I
if
just
you're
can't
bench boosting, especially like with the aforementioned bench boost chat, like, and I'm talking about like, oh, we're going to have to find, 1.5 million, whatever, like, it's going to be him probably. Like that's right. That's the exact spot where we're going to look at that and be like, oh, well, yeah, I'll just go down to Bruno, who has a good fixture or something and then spend the extra 1.5 on my bench or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, my bigger thing with Palmer is more of just like, when do we break away from the pedigree and sell someone we think is like, the clock's right all the time to, oh no, this is, I mean, I was very going nuts about Palmer and I got rid of him a lot earlier than you did.
Yeah.
Which turned out to be a really good decision.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you see that? Because, to me, I'm looking at the player and I'm like, there's something wrong with him. Like he looks worse than I'm used to, but more is the team. Yeah. I mean, the defensive nature and the lack of chances they could create, especially when NDOT was missing, was like, they don't have the capacity to score a goal. So I don't give a fuck what Palmer's done in the past, who is also low key very reliant on pens for his output. Like, and they dried up this year in a big way. A million pens last year, and they got a good, and they got a good amount at the beginning of this year, I believe. But I mean, I feel like he
scored 5 more pens last year.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a fucking ton.
Yeah. So, but like, how do you see that now? Like, in a post-mortem lens of, this is how he finished.
Yeah,
because this is one where you were wrong, right?
Yeah. Well, this goes back to my first point where I was wrong if you're judging it by points, and I wasn't wrong if you judge it by other ways, right? Because like I said, he was still touching the ball in the box 5 times a game and shooting 3.5 times a game, and if he got a pen, blah 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 blah, I would be sitting here being like, yeah, it's typical Palmer. The point is, I think, projecting Chelsea. And it's like, are they going to continue this decline of a team that feels like their ceiling is scoring one random goal in some random loose ball event?
A Cucurella header.
Cucurella header.
I mean, that's all they could create.
Nico Williams accidentally heads it to Neto, crosses it, and Colwell scores. And then they don't attack for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is like, if you're saying right and wrong, I think that is where I didn't adjust fast enough. I think Palmer was still doing crazy underlying shit. I think he ended the season with great games. Eye test wise, I was like, he looks normal. He's fucking carrying this game. He could have triple returned against Liverpool. But the difference is, I mean, they scored 1 goal in most games in the second half of the season. I mean, they just like 1 goal against Villa, 1 goal against Leicester, 0 versus Arsenal, 1 versus Spurs, 0 versus Brentford, 1 versus Everton, 0 versus Newcastle, 1 versus Man United, 1 versus NFL. And that is ridiculous end to the season. They have a couple spikes in there, which, to be honest, pretty unlucky that Palmer only got 1 return out of those games. Like, he was crazy good in the Southampton game. Could have had 5 returns in that game. And the Liverpool game, he only got a pen where he deserved a lot more. But yeah, I mean, to me, it's a team thing more than a player thing. And I didn't adjust to the fact that as Enzo's grip fucking tightens and they do more of the bullshit defensive possession that he wants, the team, like all of their assets, except for maybe like Cucurella or their defenders, to be honest, all of those assets go down because in an Emery type of way, low ceiling that we were talking about towards the end of the season with Ollie, right? It's like, if they go up 1-0, the whole game plan's out the window. Palmer's not going to cross the halfway line. Until it's 1-0, he looks great. But that's not a player that you spend 10-5 on.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all fair. That's all fair.
Yeah. Fucking Palm not God.
I think that there's just the other aspect of this where, like, we should be more willing to sell players faster. Yes. I think we used to do this too fast, and we would be hitting players out every other week. I think we've kind of, you and I both have gone too far on the other end of the extreme of patience. So, there's something there too.
Yeah, I mean, rolling transfers is great. And I think every time you're able to do it is a good thing. But yeah, there is such a thing as just being straight up too passive. And there were many times, I mean, the aforementioned Mo discussion too, where I probably looked at my team as like, Haaland, Saka, bad fixtures, but like good picks. And I could have just ripped it. And if I had done that at any time, it would have been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where should we go from here? More guys on your list, I assume?
Sure. Palace, obviously. Got to touch on
Palace.
So 2 players very interesting to me next year, Sar and Mateta. We will obviously have a difficult time once Europe starts, but Europe, as far as I know, does not start game week 1.
Nope.
I really hope we have a good opening run because I think both of these players are going to be underpriced for the beginning of the season when we should be playing well, and hopefully they're both good. And they're both kind of in different ways, so somewhat similar, but SARS should probably be 5.5 again. I mean, I don't know if they're going to bump him to 6. Or
he ended the season pretty strong. Yeah,
he started at 6, but he ended the season priced at 5.5. But
I could see him at 6.5.
Yeah, I mean, he only had 15 returns. I think that he could.
15 returns in 30 starts.
Yeah, I don't know.
Points.
It could be anywhere in this range.
Yeah.
Regardless, he left a lot of goals on the table. And he really found his footing in the system the second half of the season. And he was really just an indispensable pick for us. And he looked great almost every game and found rhythm and just his fitness monster, looked great. I expect him to be just really good next year. I mean, the Eze question is there. I don't know if we're going to retain him or not. So that could pose some problems, but I think Sar from a standpoint of just relative to the cheaper midfielders, love him. And I think Mateta, look, he had a really bad season for a lot of reasons. Like, didn't have a preseason, played the Olympics, wasn't really fit for it until a while.
I forgot that was this year.
Yeah, and then his ear got detached from his head, and he had that whole thing going on
because he had an amazing run pre-ear.
Yeah, he was finally kind of clicking into gear, and he had a good handful of games there where he was he got a lot of goals between like game week 20 and 25 or whatever, 27,
31 even. Yeah.
But just going back to like when we have our first choice 11 and everyone is fit, which we hope will be the case for game week 1, like we play like a top 4 attack in the league. Like our numbers are insane. And, I think Mateta is a big post type. Like he might get a price reduction. He didn't play well towards the end of last year, but I think that there's still a player in there. He should. I think he's good. I think he's gonna be a good pick, good differential, good pick. So I like both of them a lot. And again, I mean, it's going to be fixture dependent, but before Europe starts, I think that they're both people to consider.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, my only Palace note was in my notes because they started the season so badly was not really specific to Palace, but this is just a good, I think, thing to think about when we're making our game week 1 teams next season is just where there's smoke, there's fire. It was like a disaster preseason for Palace. There was Gahey out rumors, Anderson rumors who eventually went, Mateta Olympics. We hated Hendo.
Elise just gone.
Elise just left. And we still kind of both tripled up. We're both just like, yeah, but they're fucking good. They're good when they're fit and their whole team, their whole 11's playing like you just said. And they were very bad.
I mean, Eze did have a 10-pointer game week 1. That was
the forgotten 10-pointer.
Yeah.
I think you'll never let that down. That's your new Villa almost set up because of Hawkeye situation.
How could I let it go? It was the ultimate debauchery.
Yeah, but that's obviously not a Palace specific thing. It's just a sort of like disarray, be careful, pre-game week 1 type of thing, I think, for them.
No, I mean, that is fair. When there's a lot of upheaval and squad question mark rumors and that is something that's an important data point that we need to consider when we're looking at, the beginning of the season. Yeah.
Yeah, just being settled is good. I mean, look at Liverpool. They just won the fucking league with all the same players.
Exactly.
What else should we talk about here? I mean, 8th attacker, auto subs, like that kind of shit. We were really hammering that home in last year's post-mortem of just like have to get an 8th attacker, ridiculous to not get an 8th attacker. I think there was a little bit of like COVID and Queen dying leftover hangover for us of just like players miss games all the fucking time, and whatever. But I mean, you had 12 auto subs. I had 10 auto subs. they got some points. And it's not that that's not a lot. It is. But most of those are probably random defenders or, like just a shock miss or something like that. Is there anything there? Like, I don't know if there is anything there.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it's a very insignificant point total and it didn't really vary from my nightmare season, my worst season of my life by, 2 times. Your season or great people with great seasons all kind of just had like 10-ish auto subs for 30-ish points. Yeah. So it's like, whatever. I don't care about that.
Yeah, definitely. I wanted to talk about Liverpool fullbacks. Historically they farm points and are among the better defender picks in the game. I'm like really cold on them going into next season. I'm so worried about the minutes. I just feel like all 4 of them are going to sort of cannibalize each other. If one of the 4 gets hurt, I want the other one, probably.
But you're talking like Kirkes and Frimpong.
Yeah, and Bradley and Robbo. I mean, Robbo is probably the only one that I will under no circumstance have, no matter what. But the other 3, like if Robbo gets hurt, you could tell me Kirkes is a god. If Frimpong or Bradley gets hurt, you can tell me the other one's a god. But when they're all fit, I'm kind of just like, I don't know. There's so many games. I don't know who's playing 60 and 30 or who's starting or who's not playing. And if you get the guy that doesn't start, he subs on, you're fucked. Like that is fucking horrendous.
1-pointer. Yeah.
And he was subbing fullbacks all the time because he's just, you get 5 subs, you do whatever you want, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where do you see that? How do you see that situation?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we'll see. We have to see how all the transfers and all that stuff shake out.
Let's just assume it's Kirkes, Robbo, Frimpong, Bradley.
But the other assumption is like they keep Robbo, Tsimikas, and Bradley, right?
Tsimikas will go.
Yeah, maybe. It just depends what like the market says. But Trent, as like the example of it working out, he just started every game and was getting subbed after 60, and that was great. Like he was great when he started, and it wasn't a concern ever. So if they're spending like real money on these players, you have to assume that like if anyone doesn't, you shouldn't be scared of rotation. It's Slot, right? I mean, he just rode everyone for basically 38 games straight. So I guess my answer would be, if that happens, then we need to make an adjustment and get rid of our guys. But I think like going into game week 1, all we've learned about Slot is that he just starts the best players every game and tries to win every game.
I guess I definitely with Trent, I think the delta between Trent, who's been there for fucking his whole life, and
20 years.
A little baby child Bradley, who basically was never fit, is a lot greater than, Bradley having another season under his belt, being the, I've been here, and a kid, Frimpong, who's kind of a crazy person.
Yeah.
And, and Kirkes too, right? I mean, Robbo's going to get some starts, like just by nature of his seniority status and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kirkes, right? So I'm still
and I think it gets the best out of him probably too, Robbo, right? He starts twice a month or something in the league, and it's like, he'll play well.
Yeah, he'll be able to actually run for 90 minutes rather than jog for 60 every game.
Yeah.
So, there is certainly a way that, Frimpong emerges or Kirkes emerges, because we both, look at that. They're not buying second choice fullbacks for 50 million a pop.
Exactly. Yeah.
And also, they might not become statues in the 11 until January.
Yeah.
So,
totally
from
possible.
the game week 1 standpoint, I'm just looking at this like risk not worth incurring kind of.
Yeah. That's probably fair. I mean, I keep mentioning Danny, but it's because I'm on their pod tomorrow. But he is the most get players who play merchant of all fucking time. Like players who play every game are better than players that don't play every game, right? It's just like the simplest rule of all fantasy sports of all time, and we all break it every year, multiple times.
Because this time it'll be different.
Because this time Jota's going to start 5 in a row, and this time, blah 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 blah. But this is probably a great example of that. If there's any sort of chance of them not starting, then it's like, what are we doing? Like that is just, there's no world where that's just better than some sort of nailed defender on a decent mid-table team with good fixtures.
And, I think the other aspect to this that we lose sight of because we fixate so much on like the point potential or,
the ceiling.
the Jota, for example, like Jota is a good example of this, is that not being forced to spend a transfer on someone is more valuable than we can ever imagine.
Thing.
Like, even though, piss hair will never get the same output as Jota given the same number of minutes, unless if he gets hurt, you're never going to be looking at piss hair and being like, oh my God, I can't have this again. Yeah. Versus like with Frimpong, doesn't start game week 2. Oh, he'll be back in game week 3. Doesn't start game week 3. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And that
it's crazy.
You can't have that in your team. Like there are too many things that arise with the 15 players in your squad. Like that is something that we should really spend more time mitigating because
it's so right though. I mean, I don't know anything about how the people who make models, but people always tell us in our Discord, right? A transfer's worth 3 points or a transfer's worth 4 points. But I don't even think that's right. I think there's some greater value to like
10
points. But like what it means you can do if you roll transfers more regularly. Like let's just play with numbers, round numbers. I'm totally making this up, but say you were able to roll 5 times in the first 12 game weeks because you only got 100% nailed for 90-minute players, as opposed to some people got Diaz and some people got Jota and some people got Liam Delap on Chelsea or whatever. Like that is fucking ludicrous. That means like when it's time to fix your mistake to get Mo, you have 4 frees.
Yeah.
You don't have 1 free. When it's time to get the guy who's all of a sudden on fire, get Wood instead of, whatever forward you got because you made a dumb mistake. You're sitting on 3 frees. You just fucking do it. You just make the move. That all your moves are with like the intention of making your 11 better, as opposed to half of your moves being like the house is on fire.
Yeah.
I just need to put this fire out.
You're able to be responsive rather than reactive, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the biggest difference.
That's huge.
You're playing the game in a different way when you create your team that way to set yourself up for that. So that's something that, hopefully we, have less Barcos next year.
Oh God, Barco. Fucking pain in my ass. Yeah. I mean, this is sort of related to Morgan Rogers. I mean, like finding these set and forget guys is very rare nowadays. Like the game is more short term. There's not that idea of set and forget is like they don't score enough points to be set and forget unless they're Morgan Rogers priced 5 million assets. I think the thing with Morgan Rogers specifically is that we didn't know he was just going to play 90 in every game the entire season. We like when Champions League started and his minutes kind of dipped and his returns weren't that good. It was kind of just like, well, he's going to get rotated, so fuck off. But in hindsight, he should have been in every single team for 38 game weeks.
Well, yeah, that's fine. But I don't think, I mean, this is the point of this one is to kind of go to learn for game week 1. Like he was a significant risk for a game week 1 pick.
He was.
I mean, did you have him? I had him game week 1. Did you have him game week 1? Or you got him a little bit later?
So. I think he blanked. Later. Let me see.
I mean, he blanked the first 4 game weeks, but his minutes were very in question. And he could have gone the other way. We just kind of took the information that we had and kind of thought like this is a risk worth taking because it's only 0.5 and that's what it costs. Like if
but you're right,
0
it was a huge
to 2,
risk.
Yeah, it was a huge risk. But once it was game week 10 and we had, a good amount of information about what he's doing and how he views the player, and he started every game up to the date, is like, for, 5 million, this is a pick that we can just kind of be a bedrock and not have to worry about this bracket of player for the rest of the season. That's valuable. But
so maybe it's not looking for a set and forget game week 1. It's adjusting. Because there's never going to be someone who's just 5 million and it's like, without a shadow of a doubt, they're playing 90 every week and they're on pens or something like that. That player just doesn't fucking happen in this game. But maybe it's more the fact that like later we should be adjusting what we're thinking about their nailedness and their minutes to what's actually reality. And it's like, well, he just starts in every Champions League game and Prem game. It doesn't fucking matter. Yeah. And then like from that point on, they should be a set and forget almost. Find them later.
That makes sense. I wanted to talk about Foden.
Oh God, stink fest.
I mean, look, he obviously didn't do much this year, but he's gonna get a huge price drop, and he is 1 year removed from being one of the best picks in the game.
Yep.
What do we do? How do you
230 points to 105 points? Got to be one of the with no injury, really. I mean, a little bit.
Maybe he had a brain injury, injury, something like that. But
before I answer your question, he played 5 times in my team. How many points do you think he got? He started all 5.
3 points.
13 points.
Oh, way more than I thought.
Flying. 2.6 per game. Let's go. Best pick in the game. I remember writing you in Discord, like, I can't believe that I actually nailed 5 Foden starts in a row somehow. Yeah. And he got me nothing. He was worthless. Like, fucking worthless. What do we do? I mean, he's certainly a post-hype contender. I mean, like you said, we know, even if you just say last year was a complete outlier, he's never going to do that again, you could sell me on that. But even the year before that, in 1,800 minutes, he scored 11 goals and 7 assists. He was fucking incredible in those 1,800 minutes. We know it's there, right? Like, there's not a question of if it's there or if it's not there. It's a question of starts, and it's a question of form. Role and form.
Yeah.
And like, there's going to be, I mean, I think everyone's anticipating major upheaval with their squad, right? A lot of old guys that are leaving, a lot of money going to be spent on other guys. He's definitely like on the list. I think I need to see
He's on a very short list.
Yeah, I think I need to see it.
It's very short.
One game of him looking great, striking the ball clean, scoring a goal, and it's like, let's
go. This is what I'll say. If he's starting in preseason, he's going to be on my team. Like, he's going to be like 7.58. I mean, there's no way that he can really be more than that. Like, he's just going to be cheap.
Yeah.
I think that Foden. In on Foden. In on a Foden bounce back next year.
Who are the other post-hype / bounce back guys?
Well, Foden, Mateta, definitely.
Mateta, yeah.
I don't know if Sarr qualifies, but I think that's all I've got.
I mean, we had a Discord discussion of Son at some point, but now that they're in fucking Champions League,
I'm out on him.
He's hurt and blah blah blah.
His body he can't do it.
Yeah, his body's not a wonderland. I have Muniz on my list. I mean, he just randomly was out for the season.
Don't love that.
Well, when he scored 8 goals in 900 minutes. Like, he just scores. Like, when he plays, he scores. But
yeah, I mean,
Jim had
a great season. He doesn't do anything though.
Well, except score.
Well, that doesn't keep him in the team.
I think there's a chance when Jim, who just turned 34, takes a little bit of a step back, slows down a little. Muniz, he was 6 this year. Is he 5'5" next year?
Should be.
I think I'd like him as like a keep it on my radar. If there's any sort of smoke that like maybe he's starting or Jim looks old or some shit like that. I mean, he's 24.
Yeah, my issue is I just don't believe in the player really. Like, I mean, he's like Beto to me. Like, I'm just like, I just watch him. Like,
I think he's so much better.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. He just doesn't offer that much in hold up. Like, he's kind of like falls down a lot. I'm just like, what are you doing, buddy?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just a little bit worried about him in general. Like, unlike someone like these guys like Foden or Mateta, who we have very very. Yeah. The tape is out of they can perform and they are elite and they can do it at a high level.
Totally.
Versus him, he's more of just like he hasn't broken out. Like, so, I don't know if there ever was hype. Like, it's kind of like he hasn't really put anything together.
Well, he's
a punt.
At like the end of, if I'm remembering correctly, at the end of the 23-24 season, he was on insane fire and a lot of people got him. And then
he had like 7 good games.
Yeah, and he was just scoring every week, braces, everything, blah, blah, blah. And then this year, I think I may have even started with him.
You did, I think. You were really high on him. We've been very divided on him.
Yeah, I did start with him, but I wasn't like alone. It wasn't like I have this 1%er. And, he started and didn't score any games. And he just eventually got dropped.
Yeah.
But I think if he keeps starting, if there's that world, and I'm making this up, but that's why I'm considering him a post type, because he was kind of hyped for Game Week 1 this year with their fixtures. It just, you need the minutes. And I don't know if that's going to happen. Jim's old, but he doesn't have that much, tread. I mean, he doesn't have that much the other side of that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that much wear and tear on his legs because of the head stuff. But, it's just someone I had on a random list of random guys.
I mean, I think
Odegaard, too. Oh, it's what we're going to say about Bumo.
No, we could do Odegaard for a second. You think that there's something there to bounce back?
Well, it was kind of hard to quantify, but it was just sort of felt like he was never really back. Like he started the season looking normal. He got hurt. He was probably rushed back because they thought they were in a title race, and he just had like a really down year. He ended the season kind of on fire, under the radar.
Well, I mean, on fire it's just so hard because he's just these little assists. Like it's just. I know,
but maybe he gets a price decrease.
Well, he's definitely getting a price decrease. I mean, what price? He'd have to be like 6'5", I think, though. So then he has to go big decrease.
Assists are good enough, kind of. I mean, the thing
he scored 3 goals.
I know, but that's the thing, right? Like, I think he's always kind of been a post. Look, I'm talking about post type. I'm not talking about fucking Mo.
Fucking 3.
I know, it's insane.
But I think with him is like, what kind of player? Like, who is he? Like, we don't even know. He's fucking insane, this guy.
I mean, I think 23, 24, 8 and 11, like something like that is very realistic for him. I mean, like he can just, he's starting to hit the ball cleaner. He has the summer off. As far as I know, they're not in the Club World Cup or whatever. He'll get back fit. I mean, they're getting Zubamendi. Maybe that means he can like push up further. He doesn't have to do much, ball progression stuff. And I just, I'm looking at someone.
I like that.
I'm looking at someone who's
I like it.
1.5 million price decrease or something. Like, right, he'll be 7 maybe.
7, yeah, something like that. I mean,
there's something there.
There was a conflagration of events with him this year. Like to finish on 3 and 9 with 116 points is absolutely insane. He, really wasn't fit all year, kind of.
Yeah.
You can tell me, he comes in at 7 and, he's, really the worst case scenario he has is like 155 points or something.
Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely something there for sure.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Bumo's, it's probably just a waste of time talking about him now because we don't know if he's going to be there or not. But I think the more, I expect that they're going to sell him. I imagine someone's going to pay whatever required.
I definitely agree. Yeah.
But we have a very long track record of Frank's team. Whoever takes pens for his team is a great FPL pick. So I think, the takeaway from this one for me is just, who is that? If it's Wissa, who's left?
Oh my God, if it's Wissa, he might win the fucking golden boot. Yeah. He scored 19 goals this year.
Yeah. I mean, put him in, right? Like that player will be good.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. I mean, I think we've kind of gone every which way on Frank evaluation. I think he's had like such a weird, interesting, crazy career so far. Now they're just like, everyone unanimously agrees he's just fucking good. Like, how is he getting this consistently out of this talent? And it's like, Bumo will probably get sold. I wouldn't be surprised if Wissa also got sold. He's like 28. And it's just going to be like, all right, who's on pens, like you said? Like, is Shada nailed? Maybe Damsgod takes pens or something. Never even seen this guy, Thiago, play, who they spent like 30 million on. Yeah, fucking Igor, not Ciamento. But there's definitely picks there. Yeah, I mean, Frank just gets a fucking lot out of his players.
Yeah, and I mean, especially this season, I mean, he really kind of went away from what he was doing the previous seasons and just opened it up, right? Probably looking for a managerial to be able to get a different job or whatever. But all said, they just attack. So
and Bumo, even the year when he wasn't on pens, his last full season, he got 150 points, 9 and 9.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Tony was out for a while, wasn't he? That year?
So maybe he took some pens. Yeah, I don't remember.
But either way, he's always been a thing.
Yeah.
Well, he had the other year, he did the 9 goal when he hit the post, but he hit the post like fucking 6 times or whatever that year.
That was
2 years
ridiculous.
ago.
I mean, you were the only one on him that year, I think.
Yeah, I remember every post.
You remember every post. You never forget a post.
No.
Last one I had on my post type list, is Ahmad back to Manchester United. Interestingly, I don't know. He just kind of does it every game. That kind of guy. Like he's just really explosive, really young. Obviously has potential. I don't think he's going to be like fucking amazing, but he might just be 5'5". Like he probably should be 5'5" or 6 max. And yeah, if this team is more settled, and you know, he obviously missed a lot of time with injuries, but if the team's more settled and Garnacho's gone and they get a capable striker, whatever, and he just starts every game at right wing, like, yeah, I could see that. I could see him being under the radar.
There's a world. There's a world. We'll have to see when the dust settles. There's certainly a world. Because, I mean, the one thing, that, typically I think of is like, well, I need to see where he's playing. I mean, he's playing fucking wingback. He's still hauling tits, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We just need to make sure he's in the first choice team and he's fit, right? Basically.
Yeah, exactly. And we're all going to spend 4 or 5 on all our defenders, right? I mean...
Yeah, for the most part.
Defense just keeps getting worse every single year, and the prices don't adjust accordingly.
Yeah, so we don't have to spend more time on that. But I mean, the one we can spend. I have two Western related points, but 1B is certainly another 4 or 5. I mean, he seems to have. Yeah, I mean, he seems to have just kind of found something towards the end of the season. I mean, he's still. But he's kind of 8 returns, dude. He had 2 goals and 6 assists, and
it's crazy.
It felt warranted from watching him.
He was
play.
Great going forward. He was great going forward.
So, under Potter, he looks like he's certainly relied upon and trusted, and getting in the final third into decent positions. And he's definitely a name to look at for the first season. I think for the first game week.
It's just so obvious that the other Manchester United managers, or whatever 5 that probably coached while he was there, just did not get the best out of him. I mean, he had the 4 assists season, or 3 assists for Palace the year they bought him, and he was like a shutdown defender. Then no goals, 4 assists, 2 goals, 4 assists, and then just nothing for the next 3 years of his Manchester United career. Comes to West Ham, Potter lets him free. Yeah, he's shockingly good season for him. Love that shout.
He might just be this. He might just be this way for another couple. Because
I hope he's 4-5.
He should be. I mean, I think it'd be crazy for him not to be.
Yeah, I think
unless
so.
If they do the thing where everyone else is 4 or 5 and he's 5. But I don't think that the West Ham defense showed.
They can't do that, right?
I don't think they could justify it based on what they showed this year.
I don't think so. Yeah. How many cleans did they get? They got
like 7 or something.
7.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not good.
That's a bad amount of cleans.
And then I mean Bowen, right? It's Bowen. I don't know. I mean, every year. It's hard to. It's every year. I mean, he's underpriced every single year. He's grossly underpriced every year.
193 this year, 182 last year.
Yeah, I mean he's
7.5.
He should never be under 8.5, and he's never been more than 8.5.
Yep.
He might have pens too. I mean, that's possible.
Yeah, Paqueta,
they don't win any.
Yeah,
they don't win any pens because they don't spend any time in the box where you need to be to earn a pen. But Bowen, it's like Bowen is a very Boomo kind of player to me. Like, where it's just like it doesn't matter who they're playing because they're an erratic. Like sometimes they hit on the counter, but he's just so good. Like he's just so fucking good, and he's perennially underappreciated and underrepresented in teams and not sexy and amazing.
Yep.
So, he's someone it would be hard for me to see, not having him in my game week 2 wildcard team. I don't know who they play game week 1 or whatever, but
yeah. I mean, he absolutely should be. And I don't think they've shown us that he's not going to get some sort of crazy price hike because he scored 182 points last year and he started at 7 last year and he started at 7.5 this year. So
it's also that he had
they'll go 8, but I don't think so.
Well, he had the 200 points, 206 and 21-22, and then he only went to 8.5. And then he had a bad year, then he plummeted. And so, I mean, the price is not going to be.
He should be the same price as Bruno every single year, even though they do it in different ways, right?
Yep.
But if one of them is under 8.5 or either of them are under 8.5, that's undervalued. Get that player. set and forget. This is the new version of set and forget, right? Set and forgets used to be 6'5" guys who got 150 points. The new version is 8 million guys who got 190 points. That's the new set and forget that you can just build your team around, never touch, fuck around on the edges.
Yeah, or at minimum, like you put enough of these players in your team and you can touch them when they have a bad fixture run. Like you will be able to luxuriate in that way, kind of thing. So
that's the. I don't necessarily agree with that because that's the tricky thing I think about owning a player like Bowen is. I mean, he had that he was injured this run. He had no bad runs where he blanked more than 2 times in a row.
Yeah.
The entire 1 through 38. So I feel like getting rid of him is different than getting rid. Well,
challenge accepted.
Close.
Watch this.
Earmuffs. But it's like it's never like you're leaving points on the table when you get rid of him, as opposed to Bruno, where it's like, oh yeah, like these 3 games he'll be lucky if he scores any points.
Yeah,
because they're just gonna be dominated, and he's gonna play defensive midfield or whatever.
Yeah.
Bowen is not like that.
No, he's not. He's not. Bruno is. Bowen's not.
Yeah. So we gotta do our best to hodl Bowen after you start with them in game week 1 again.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, I might not, because if I'm doing the early, if they play,
right. Well,
Liverpool
game week
2, 3,
or whatever.
Yeah. And then I get the other. I just wanted to glance over this, but the mid-table teams next season with no Europe that could pop. Like, I mean, this is like the NFO.
Talk to me about that.
I mean, we have the candidates. Basically, it's like Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, Brenham, Western, Everton. Basically, I mean, I might be forgetting 1 or 2. Man United, I guess, is on there too. But
yeah, I'm pulling up the table.
I mean, I think in the era of teams playing 60 games and like the lack of consistency and more teams in Europe than literally ever, these teams will be more important than ever for FPL next year. It might not be game week 1 because Europe doesn't start then, but just to kind of keep a close eye on these teams and, get their talisman players early, or just see which one looks like they're really doing well and getting a couple of their defenders or something. But like being able to kind of notice like when is the time to stack my team full of these players, the good mid-table teams, is going to be, I think, an important feature of next season.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, so the teams not in Europe and not relegated are Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford, Fulham, Everton, West Ham, Man United, and Wolves. And yeah, I mean, there's like a lot of. I don't actually know what the fuck Wolves are doing for attacker, right? I mean, they're getting rid of Cunha, and I think Strand is alone, so they're a mess.
Yeah, they're a mess. I don't
making getting your 4-5 defenders from these guys who are again nailed 90. Don't take a risk there for no reason. Seems great. Yeah, and then we've already talked about some Manchester United guys. We just talked about Bowen and Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Brentford, like we're already talking about a lot of these guys, and this just like hammers it home even more.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, to me, this is like these are the teams that you want to, whichever ones are the 4 or 5 goalkeepers. Like you're getting the guy from one of these teams.
Yeah,
and you can also look at maybe some type of a rotation. Like you could definitely show me the fixture list at the beginning of the season. Say, I'm triple Fulham defense and I'm triple Everton defense, and I'm rotating them because they rotate kind of well. Like, I mean, I think I could see that, right? And,
totally.
Yeah.
And that's like the bench boost game week 1 that works and you don't have to wild card out of, right? It's like, I'm just getting so many cleans. It doesn't even matter what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Elsewhere. Damn. Yeah. Fuck. There was some other shit. I mean, there was the Isak thing with, Newcastle, sort of similar to Palace. We're just kind of in total disarray pre-game week 1. And we all kind of just like shuddered that and all went Isak and all were like, what the fuck? He's a disaster. Same thing as that Palace one I made earlier. I think we're going to have to it's been an hour 45. So I think we're going to have to like push all of these questions we got from Discord and probably more questions to come to what will be a Patreon episode will be the post-mortem.
Okay.
But if there's anything else you want to talk about now, I'm still around. I'm still here.
I just have one more. My last note is Luis Diaz.
Luis Diaz.
How many
points did he finish on?
183.
What?
183.
I think I would have guessed 160. I kind of wish you quizzed me on that. I cannot believe he has 183.
He's Bowen. Good pick.
How did Diaz have 183 and Gakpo had 127? Can you explain that? In my head, they both had 150 exactly.
How many minutes? There's 400 minutes discrepancy. Minutes. There's a minutes discrepancy. I don't know, maybe the bonus points. How many bonus points did Gakpo
Diaz had 3 more goals. Obviously, Diaz
22.
also... Yeah. Diaz is a midfielder, though, so extra points for goals, cleans. But
bonus points are identical.
In my head, they're the same, but they are very not the same. Yeah, Diaz is Bowen. Tell me more about that, because he's not nailed, but he's going to get his points, right?
Yeah, he's not nailed, and he's if Wirtz is coming in, we don't know how the cookie's going to crumble.
Yeah, we don't know.
He got subbed a lot, but he's just really good. I know. You don't know when he's going to pop up with a haul, but the team is phenomenal. There are, we've talked about, he plays striker. He's really just pressing, and he doesn't do that much output wise. And he's still fucking playing strike. He's still
he's
forward.
Still in the middle of the box.
He's a forward for Liverpool. I don't really care. It's just he's underpriced. He was 7.5 this year, and he didn't climb really above 7.5. He finished at 7.5. So that's kind of telling me that they aren't going to change his price. And I can't imagine him getting less than the amount of points he got last season. If anything, he's left things on the table. I think he's fucking awesome. He's just so good. And
he's incredible. Yeah.
2 years ago, he was shooting from outside the box exclusively. Under Slot, he was not scoring bangers, which were the only kind of goals he was scoring under Klopp, which we were always a little dubious around. He's just getting tap-ins. He's getting far post runs. He knows what time it is. Presuming he stays, I think he's going to be also a very, very underappreciated pick of you have Mo. I don't know when he's he's fucking good. And I like him.
That'll be, the Liverpool shakeout, not just because I'm a fan, I think is one of the most fascinating things of the summer, right? Yeah. We'll see what forwards get sold. I think any of them except Mo are literally on the list. I wouldn't be surprised if Gakpo, Diaz, Jota, Chiesa, Harvey, whatever, all. And then Wirtz is rumored to come in. There's striker rumors. There's who the fuck knows what
we'll have to see.
Happen.
We'll have to see.
But Diaz is good. The difference between Diaz and Bowen is obviously because of
the minutes.
Yeah. He does have stretches where he blanks 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Where Bowen doesn't because of minutes.
Yeah.
So it is still the type of thing where I think you will still do your best to be there's an injury or there's a thing or blah, blah, blah. There's an opportunity where he might start 4 out of 5. I still think that's when you would go Diaz as opposed to Bowen where you just want to hold him. But I don't know if he gets 180 or 90 points again. Maybe it is just hold him and you just take the 20-minute appearances on the chin. I don't know.
I think that there's something there. We can look at the way he's used. he started every game for the first month and a half, and then he's fucking flying back and forth from Colombia. Then Champions League starts.
An international break. Yep.
Yeah, Champions League starts, and he's not the kind of player that can play 90 every other game.
No. He works too hard.
He works too hard, and we saw him just bench against Brighton, bench against Chelsea, bench against Southampton, bench against Newcastle. There are games where he just rests him and he just plays, and then he starts the next game. And, those are the stretches where it's torturous. So I think he is the kind of pick that you would need to sort of bob and weave him in and out, because you don't want to be carrying him when he's starting 3 and bench 3 in a 6-game week window. And, maybe it is around international breaks and the important Champions League ties. Because I think what he showed us this year is he was very much his trusted first choice forward.
100%.
100%. Whether it was left wing or central position.
Once Jota got hurt and Diaz had to fill in there, I think from that point on, he was his first choice center forward. Yep.
Yeah, just
and
couldn't
Gakpo
play.
First choice left wing.
Yeah, just couldn't play him every game. And I think that he would have been his first choice left wing over Gakpo if they had a better option to play forward, which, we'll see how Wirtz comes in and whatever it goes, right? But ultimately, all in said is I think that it's very easy to say Diaz is not a pick because of these questions.
Right.
And he gets subbed every game too, which isn't great, but he almost had 200 points this year. Almost everything that you could imagine would go wrong went wrong, and he got 200 points. Yeah. So I just think that
I think that a few good points you made there, like just looking at his like match log, right? Like an example of a bad time to get Luis Diaz is international break right before game week 12, where they're away Southampton, which is obviously the game you want him in, but it's also a guaranteed Liverpool win where they don't need him. Followed by midweek Real Madrid, followed by Man City, where he obviously is 100% starting both of those because they need their best team for both of those. And then he doesn't start again after that against Newcastle. And it's just what a nightmare. It's easy to avoid, though.
Well, this is another one, too, with him, though. It would take balls, but you get Morgan Rogers, right? You're just like, I'm going to bench him. I'm just benching him. I'm not going to do anything with him, but I can make these calculated guesses and I'm going to just try it this way.
Yeah.
And that's an option here.
Yeah.
Which is rare, which is very rare.
Yeah, it's rare. I mean, the thing that also was just like a follow-up point is just fantastic by you is just, this is why we need the nailed guys so we can bank transfers.
Yeah.
You can't get Diaz if you're, what did I say that one time? Paycheck to paycheck. You're fucking paying your rent paycheck to paycheck. You can't live paycheck to paycheck and get Luis Diaz because he's not reliable. But you can if you have the fucking structure system built there of just nailed guys on decent teams or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can fucking fuck around.
No Barcos.
No Barcos. No Barco. No Barco. I'm going to get that fucking tattooed on my forehead.
All right.
I'm looking around. I think most of these are kind of question based and don't need to get too into it. I also have like some stat stuff. Don't need to get into it there. I'm gonna be on Last Resort tomorrow. We're gonna figure out a time off air to record Patreon pod, and
we'll do that next week.
Yeah, next week sometime. Yeah, for sure.
And if anyone has questions based on anything we've talked about today, please feel free.
Yeah, I would love to see that. And then, believe it or not, we have two asses to slap here.
Ooh.
We got Brian Sveinson, aka Svenny, and Tom Quick. Slap the ass, baby. Get in there. And that's a post-mortem pod, right, dude. Any last words?
I'll see you tomorrow.
Check us out at FMLFPL.com. Follow us on Twitter at FMLFPL Sports Speak. Subscribe, rate, review, cheers.